This is the Zoom PodTrack P4 Next, and I'm going to do a lot of audio testing to, I guess, hear how this actually sounds and if you should get something of this sort. So how I have this all set up, I have it going USB-C into USB-C into the side, and so this right here is an iPhone cable right here. And here's a small little tip right here. Turn your option for extra power off, because again, this is a Rode pod mic. It does not need that extra power. Yeesh. Okay, cool. So like again, here's XLR, and it's going into the Rode pod mic right here. So here's all the options that I actually do. So this right here, you guys, it is super simple. I would say mainly all you really do is set up your gain, and then you press record if you don't want all the EQ stuff, which we're about to hop into right now. But right now, so if we look right here, I'm gonna go up right here. So how I actually see this right here, so if you guys look, guys, it is low right now. So right now we are I would say off, right? As in these right here are how much you would do and increase the gain, right? So we're going to come up here. So this is half right here. So we're going to come over and just kind of see where it, I guess, not peaks, but it gets somewhat up to the top of the line. So this right here, this right here would be, I believe, 75% right here. And then if we go all the way, it's going to be 100%. So here is how it will actually sound right here. If you want to, I guess, hear that hiss from the preamp. So let's jump into that real quick. I'll be quiet. And it's very sensitive, so you can kind of see this. That is crazy. All right, so as we're about to speak into it, I would say I want it at about 75%-ish. So here's 75. I guess 70%. So I would say right here, if you're looking at a clock, this is 1. This is probably about 2, and this is probably about 3 right here. So I'm actually going to come back a bit because it's high on the actual bar there. And then we're going to come and see the headphones. So for me, for these, I do this at about halfway, because if you go all the way up, you could hear a lot, and it does pop a small bit. Just a small bit. So this is how it's going to sound raw. So now we're going to add in the EQ options. So right now my AC is not on, or, I would say right now for what I have, here is how it will actually sound being super quiet. Okay, cool. So now we will actually turn the tone on, and we're going to hear how that sounds. And like for me, I would say it sounds good. So we're going to turn it back off and hear how that sounds. And we're going to turn it back on, and then we're going to hear how that sounds. So this is the Zoom PodTrack P4 Next, and then turn it back off. This is the Zoom PodTrack P4 Next. And now we're just going to have it off because, if you're like, oh no, it's too high, too low, cool. So now all we're about to do is we're going to turn the compressor on. Whoa, that spiked up a lot. That's going to be cool, I guess. As I speak too loud, it's going to have it come down. If I speak too low, it's going to press it up, because if I pull it back off, you know, if I speak too high, oh my gosh, and then if I speak too low, it's not going to come in. So let's turn back the compressor. So too high, and then too low. So this, cool, I guess. So let's turn that back off, and you can hear that. So here's what I'd say is cool is the AI noise option right here to have it, I guess, not on as much. So I'm going to stop speaking, and I'm going to activate this right here. Okay, cool. And here is what you can actually hear, and very interesting, because I can hear it's off a bit, as in I can hear it in here, as in like there's a small little echo that in the headphones, just a small bit. Let me turn it back off, and then we can kind of hear it. So I would say that this right here is on point, and then we activate this option here. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's there. I'm sure after some time right there, you actually will be like, okay, this is the normal, right? But I would say it sounds good. So this is the raw option here. So this is the Zoom PodTrack P4 Next, and I am at home, and we are doing this recording. All right, cool. So this is how it sounds with everything on. Tone, compressor, AI, noise, reduction is on. So, you know, if you're at home and you have on a fan of some sort, this is how it is going to actually sound. So we are going to test this to see if I can hear this through all of the headphone ports. And then we're going to hop into, if you have like if you're going to sit with somebody, like you got someone across from you, I'm going to bring in a mic, and then we're going to jump into 4 mics and see how that actually sounds. All right, let's hear how this sounds. And yeah, that sounds about the same, which is pretty cool. And we're talking, and that does sound the exact same, so that's cool. Okay, let's turn up the volume here, and that sounds about the same. So these do work, which is cool. And I would say to leave these where your headphones are, so it sounds good. So like, again, if you have somebody sitting there, they're like, bro, I don't know what you're saying, and all that kind of stuff. Cool. So now with all this on, I want to see, actually, if you put this power source over the XLR and hear how this actually sounds, because in some cases, you know, it will screw up your audio recording. So I can't hear anything right now. Can't hear nothing. We're going to hook up 2 mics and hear how this actually sounds. All right, so right here we have 2 Rode Pod mics right here, and as you can see, they are set at the exact same input because they are the same mic, so you should probably do that. And then so we have this one right here, and then we have this one right here. So it is cool because they should record on separate tracks. So here is how it will actually sound with them both armed, as in, if you will actually sit here and you have a person over here, here's how it will sound when you have the mic bleed, as in how I'm speaking right here, and you will hear me on their actual mic. It's not a lot, but it does do certain things in post. But here's how it will sound like this if you're sitting 180 degrees over here. So you can kind of hear that right there. And as I talk, here's how it's going to sound, right? So here is how it actually will look and how it will sound. Did you guys see over here on Meet One how it peaked? That is crazy. So I would say to have this on, because if you have some people who are like super loud, right? So I'm actually going to pull that down because that would clip in post. So I'm actually going to pull these both down to be at the same. So we're at about 1 and 2 if you're looking at a clock. So this is how it's going to look. Okay, cool. Awesome. So here is how it's going to sound with all this stuff on, all the AI stuff. So we're going to pull this stuff off as I speak, and that is crazy. So let me kind of go up on the headphone So right here, we're at about like a 3 o'clock on the headphone now. And then as we speak into this one, this is the exact same thing. Cool. And now we're going to speak really loud on that one. Sorry, I just kind of went super loud. So we're going to add in some tone. Cool. And here's how this actually sounds. And then we're going to add in some compressor right there. And again, that hiss comes in with a compressor. So FYI on that. And then we're going to do AI, the noise reduction. I'm going to hold my breath. Cool. And now we are live. Hey guys, hope you're doing great. We're just going to jump right in and hear how this actually sounds. So now I want to hear if it will actually change if I put mute on number 3 and 4. Like as in if it sounds more clear. And let me actually pull these off and I'm going to raise these full. That is crazy. I could hear that. I don't know if you can hear it in the mic. That's crazy. So I would either do mute or number 4 is nuts as well. So either just have it all down or mute those tracks if you don't want certain things to come in. That is pretty loud right there. I wonder how loud it is on here after I see it. That is no joke. All right, and we are live. So right here I have 4 Rode pod mics. They are in via XLR. So this is 1, 2, 3 over here and 4 over here. So let's just kind of, I guess, speak into them. So this is mic number 2 and this one is off right now. So I'm actually going to raise the gain so you can kind of hear and then hear where it comes in at. So I'm going to set all these at the exact same. So let's go over number 3. Cool. And let's kind of come up onto number 3 right here. So let's just kind of keep coming up. And I want to hear where it comes into my headphones. So I have to kind of go up a bit. Actually, let's just go to number 3 and I'm going to see if they record at the exact same, the audio size here. So here's number 4. So we're going to come up and all right. So this is number 4 speaking into it right here off to the side, which is crazy. So what I wanted to do is having all these on, is it going to actually sound good? Right. So now I'm going to add all the tone and all that stuff to it. So that's the tone. This is the compressor right here. That is crazy. It spikes up so much in the headphone. It's intense. And then we're going to go to the AI noise reduction. So I'm going to hold my breath. Cool. So here is how it sounds with all this. And yeah, there's a slight echo still. And then here's mic the number 2, as I kind of lean in. Hey guys, hope you're doing great. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And then over here on mic the number 3, this is what it's going to sound like right here. And as you can kind of see right here, option 3 right there. And then I will hit a sound pad because you can do these and all that kind of stuff. I don't really do them that much. No way, that was so funny, right? And then here is mic 4. So, how you guys have some people talk, you're going to have a 4-person podcast or more. It all depends on that. So right now you can actually see me on an iPhone 16 and this is an iPhone 14 right here. And again, I have the low cut on and then I have the limiter on as well. Here we are. Again, we are at a Starbucks right here, you guys. I would say it's pretty cool. But here's how it will actually sound with all this stuff off. And we have the door about to open. That loud ass fan right there, which is crazy. But here's the thing. So I'm going to turn on tone right now. Okay, cool. And here's how it sounds with the tone only option right here. And we're going to hop over to compressor right here. And that did just spike up, in here, and the door just opened up again, which is crazy. Okay, and so now we're gonna turn on the noise reducing option. Wow, that went down so much, it's crazy. But it kind of sounds like my voice is, I would say it's not crystal clear. It's like a growl. That was crazy. Like it kind of sounded like I'm underwater a bit. But yeah, I would say you might not use this option depending on how this will actually sound in post. But so let me pull off the noise reduction here. Okay, cool. And here's how it sounds. That is no joke right there. So I'm actually gonna pull off the compressor. Okay, cool. Here's how it sounds. I just have the tone on now, so I'm gonna turn the tone off. Okay, cool. Here is how it sounds, and I'm just gonna use the noise reducing option now. Okay, cool. It just activated, and this is how it sounds with that on. And so the overall, this is how, guys, this is super simple. I have this all in the backpack, which is cool. So, you know, if you're going to sit with somebody and you are going to read some notes and all that kind of stuff there. And as you can hear, this is the extras that is going to happen in the mic as you hit stuff, right? So, ooh, that's loud right there. Let me turn off the noise reduction. That blender was no joke. So now we're gonna hop outdoors and we're gonna hear how this actually sounds, because it seems pretty loud, and let's jump into it. So now we are outside, guys. It was super simple just to bring everything out. I just put it in one hand, and you know, I was good to go. But yeah, as you can see, guys, it is loud right here. So right now I have all of the EQ stuff off. So all we're about to do is go in and be like, okay, here's what it sounds like, right? So here's just how it is off, all raw, and now we just have it onto tone. So I would say that does actually sound pretty good. And we're gonna go to compressor. Okay, just swap that over so you can kind of hear what the it is going to actually sound like. And we're gonna turn on noise reduction. Okay, cool. And here's, wow, I can't even hear the cars in the headphones. Yo, this is no joke. I wonder how this actually sounds in post. So here is how it is about to sound outside. If you're like, oh, hey, you know, I want to sit outside and, you know, meet with somebody and speak to. So I'm going to turn off the tone. Okay, and here is how this is going to sound. And again, I still have the other noise option on. Ooh. Yeah, you can hear that a bit in the headphones. I think that's the wind, because if I take off the screen, I think that's the wind. That's interesting. Okay, and now we're gonna take off the compressor, and then here is how it sounds without the compressor right here, and we're gonna turn off the noise reduction.
Los invitó más bien. Entonces no sé qué pasó.
¿Ella, el esposo de ella?
Ajá, el mero esposo. A su propio esposo los invitó. Entonces pues yo dije, ok, pero igual, o sea, entonces yo le dije, la neta, le dije, pues nosotros lo cambiamos, you know, por ti. Le digo, porque nosotros también trabajamos, nosotros tenemos que trabajar, pues no sé qué. Y le dije, pero sí, le digo, pues se me hace mala onda, pues, le digo, para hacerte directa. Y luego dice, lamento que te sientas así, sí, correcto, es por citas. Y se me juntó, no es que todos los terminen un mismo tiempo.
¿Qué es lo que ella hace?
She cuts dog hair, she's grooms.
Ah, ok.
Yeah, she's learning, she's doing her hours para estar, pero ahorita los haciendo y tomo todo con, ¿qué?
No digo.
Ajá, no digo y tomo todo con qué quedar, porque es donde obtengo mi economía.
O sea,
Y para evitar quedarte mal otra vez, prefiero ser realista y clara y dejar el compromiso del podcast. Muchas gracias por la oportunidad. Dime.
We are on the computer now. I have the Zoom PodTrack P4 hooked in via USB-C to USB-A. So on my actual sound options right here. So let's come and make me small out of the way real quick. Right here, what I actually have, I have it in at the 80%, right? Because I've kind of heard it and I was like, ooh, it has preamp hiss. So you will have to do a lot in post. But you guys, this is super simple, and here is how it will actually sound in OBS right here. You guys, so right now I have it set so it's up. So I guess halfway, right? So now all I'm about to do here, let me scoot this to the side real quick. So all I'm about to do is go over to the first dot on here, and we can kind of hear how that's going to change. And like again, I have all the EQ stuff off. So we're going to come over to 1 right here, and you can kind of see what is happening. So right here, it's showing that it's about half on the actual on the Zoom P4 Next. So as I'm speaking, you can kind of hear and see where it is on the OBS, and I can't hear any hiss, but guys, in post it's there. So let me come over to 2 right here, and it looks pretty high. So let's just say that. And as you can see on OBS, right, this is kind of where you should be, but not pre-recording. In post is where you do all of the magic. So I'm going to come back over to the very first dot after the halfway mark. So this is how it's going to sound. And now we are going in and we are straight up and down. So at about half, right? And it's actually cool because you can record at the same time as you're plugged in via USB-C. As in, you could record on the actual PodTrack P4 Next, which is cool. So right here, we're at noon right now. So all I'm going to do is raise this to 90, and we're going to hear what that does as I'm speaking, because it might have that hiss still. It's crazy because on the Rodecaster Pro 2, it does not have hiss. So like for me right now, because I do podcasting, that right there is like my main thing I want is no hiss, no, like I want good clean audio, right? So we're at the 90 and I'm at noon on the actual PodTrack P4 Next, and then we're gonna come up to 1, and I've seen that if you go past 1, it's just bad. And again, I'm on a Rode pod mic, so just FYI on that. So that's 1, and we're gonna come up here to 2, and it looks super hot on the actual P4 Next. And again, this is at 2. And you can kind of see that on the screen. That is crazy. I'm going to come back to 1. Okay, cool. And let's come back to halfway, as in it's up and down. So I'm going to go all the way up right here. So let's go to 100%. And I'm actually going to drop down to 11 o'clock. So we're going to come over here. We're going to go to 100 right here. And again, we are on the input right here, right? So so this is at 11 o'clock. It looks low for sure. So let's come up here to noon, as in halfway right there. And I would say you should probably do this and then in post go up with it. But again, there's that hiss, I believe. I believe. Okay, cool. So now we're going to come up to the 1 mark and see how that actually looks. And I would say it looks okay on OBS, but how is the audio quality, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to 1, and now we're going to hop into a call and kind of hear how that actually sounds. All right, so here we are right now. We're at about straight up and down, and then on the computer we actually went back up to 100%. So I have what this actually sees. It's about to go in 100%. I say that because as I use the Scarlett Solo, I have it at about 80%. So FYI on that. And so let's get this out of the way. Cool. And right now I'm using OBS still. So as you can kind of see this, but what I'm about to do, I'm about to turn off the audio on OBS, and I'm going to use this option. This is Riverside .fm. Okay, cool. So now you can hear me from this app right here. And again, I'm at 12 noon. So here's, I guess, what it's going to sound like right when you're doing this stuff. So I want to see what happens as I go up. So I'm going to go up to 1, and I want to see if there's any hiss or all that stuff, because if you guys look over here, now it is yellow over here. That is, yeah, interesting. So echo cancellation, I don't need this because I'm wearing headphones, right? So as you look, it is in the yellow right there. So I'm going to come up to 2, and I want to see what that does, because it's very, very high on the Zoom PodTrack P4. So I'm going to come back to 1, and then we're going to see what that actually looks like. Okay, cool. And we're going to come back to 12 noon right now. And you probably can't even, yeah, it's low on here. So I believe because of this right here, it looks like I would want to be at the first dot past half, and then we can kind of, I guess, hear that. So I'm going to stop the clip, and we're going to come back to 12 noon on the dial, and then we're just going to hear how that sounds. So I'm going to stop this recording, and now we are back on OBS. So let's, I guess, hear how this actually sounds, and we'll go from there. All right, so right here are the pros and cons that, I would be like, yes, and then I would say no up to a point. So I got a list I actually made while I was watching the video, right? So I would say, you guys, it is cool because it is small and it's not very expensive, right? At like 180, that's before tax. So I spent like the 95-ish on it. So cool. And then also, you guys, it has 4 the XLRs, which is super cool. And then as well, 4 outputs to plug in the headphones, which is super, super cool. The EQ on it is good. I was like, wow, you can record as you are plugged into a computer. If you are speaking onto something and it's loud and you get that all in one track, you can't really do, like, I would say, a lot to actually split that up. So, if you got something you're about to speak on, and then as well into the mic, you can do 2 separate tracks, which is legit. So now for the cons. For me personally, it's the hiss. Because, I just do not like the hiss because it's something extra you have to do in post. It's not hard. It's just extra something. There is the active way to get out the noise from the actual track. It will show up when, you have the headphones on, but it's not on the actual track. So I would say it's okay and not okay because it did not come up in the actual track, but you could hear it as you were speaking to whoever, right? So that option is only in the headphones, which is okay, cool. So I would say also what is not great, you cannot record straight onto a drive of some sort. You have to do it onto like an SD card, and then you do it to something of this with your computer. Because on the Rodecaster Pro 2, you can, and it's like, it's easier, right? But I would say overall, it is good for whoever is like brand new, because it's like, again, it's not super expensive for what it has to offer. And like, it's small, it's super cool. But I would stick with a Rodecaster Pro 2 only because of the preamps. So I hope that is going to help whoever out there, like, subscribe, and I will put these videos on the screen, if you want to jump into like a Rodecaster Pro 2, which this one, guys, I got for $300.